Good evening. Welcome home. My name is Daniel Brower. I use he, she, or they pronouns, and I am the transitional minister here at First Christian Church of Decatur. Don't mind that brief pause as I forget the thing I say every single week. Welcome back to 601 Wednesday, our congregational midweek meditation. I say we do this every single week, but it has in fact been 2 weeks since I did this last. I have missed all of you oh so dearly, and I am very glad to finally be back in action this week. If you somehow missed what happened in the last 2 weeks, I have not been incommunicado because of work or because I was on vacation, and it was not because I hate you. Instead, I have spent the last 2 weeks with my family as we sat with my grandmother through her final days on the earth. I am profoundly grateful to each and every one of you that made that precious time with my family a possibility. The ability to be with her and the rest of my family during that time is an enormous gift, and I am so thankful for all of you. And especially since I was not originally planning to go. When they called and said she was sick, I was like, okay, well, just call me and let me know, tell me when. Because I have to work, and there wasn't anything to do, I do. That's my thing. In any situation, I need to do something. It's kind of my thing. But it is not just my thing. As people, when it comes to troubling situations, we have a natural instinct to fix. I was just talking about this with someone today. When someone brings up a problem, the first thing you think is, how do I fix it? How do I help? I've heard people say that it's a man thing or a woman thing, but it's not really gendered. People want to help. We want there to be something that we can say or do that makes everything okay. So, what was the point of going if all I could do was just kind of sit there? Now, you're a smart person, and you probably know the answer to this. It turns out the thing to do was, in fact, just sit there. I was able to sit with my grandmother for days before her passing, as she got weaker. And sometimes she would try to talk, and instead of trying to, encourage her to do more of that and exert herself, I would just say, I know, it's okay. And eventually I looked at her and I was like, I keep saying that I know what you're trying to tell me, and I realize that I probably don't. I don't know a lot of things right now, but I know that I'm here with you. The situation didn't get better, and the situation didn't change, but in the end, the ones that loved her were there. And she wasn't alone. And in much the same way, I have not been alone throughout navigating this change. This is the first major family member I've lost. And there are so many of you that have sat with me as I've adjusted to this new normal. And there are going to be many more days where we will continue to sit together. That's what it is to be a community. To have friends, to love, to stick with each other, even if we don't know the right things to say or do. Just to be there. You might be familiar with the story of Job. Job had a lot of bad stuff go on in his life, and after the end of all the things that go wrong with him, on top of everything, Job gets sick, right? And we often remember that he has 3 friends that come to visit him. And we remember that these 3 friends suck. Because they try to fix something or say something or do something when there's nothing to be done. They tried to fix something that couldn't be fixed, and it got them in trouble in the long run. And I feel like a lot of times we focus on that and we forget about the first part of their visit. When his friends first heard of the disasters that had befallen Job, they went to his house, and they cried with him, and they sat with him without saying a word for a week. They didn't have to know what to say or do. They just sat beside him and were there with him during his time of grief. And that's something that's really hard for a lot of us to do. It's hard for us to sit with someone who's in pain, emotional or physical, and not try to fix it. We want to say, I know, or it's okay, I can do it, I've got it, don't worry. And we can say those things, and they may not be true. It's hard to just sit with someone when there's nothing that we can do to change what happened or what is happening. And yet, that is often what we are called upon to do. Whether it's a personal loss or pain, or just kind of the general badness that characterizes America right now, sometimes we won't know just what to do or say. Things right now seem really overwhelming, and it can feel like there's nothing that we can possibly do that makes a difference. And yet, in these times of overwhelm, especially now, we cannot pull away from each other. It might feel better or safer not to sit in that pain with one another, but community is built on enduring the hard times together as well as the easy times. The messages we put up today on our marquee are from Sojourners magazine, thanks to them, and one of them says, "Supremacist systems are our ailment. Solidarity is the antidote." Solidarity is what gets us through times that seem impossible to manage. Just being with each other is what's important, whether we know the right things to say or do or not. Jesus called on his disciples to do this with him. As he entered the garden and approached his death, he asked his disciples to just sit with him for a while as he grieved and prayed. And they didn't. It was easier to sleep than to sit with what was happening. And whether it was because they didn't understand what was happening or because they didn't want to understand what was happening, they weren't there. We have to be more faithful than that. We can be more faithful than that. It can be uncomfortable and it can be difficult, and no matter what happens, we're not doing it by ourselves. I have you, you have me, we all have each other, and we have Jesus himself. Jesus has walked this way before us, and he will walk this way again beside us. No matter how many times we go through times of loneliness or fear or pain, Jesus will always be willing to walk beside us again. He sat in the garden and contemplated his mortality and the weight of the world around him, and he did that alone. He knows what it is to be alone. And that's why I can be sure that Jesus is here with us. His Spirit surrounds us as we walk through the valley of the shadow of death even. As we continue to learn and to practice how to be with one another in a season of uncertainty and grief, we don't need to be afraid of discomfort or awkwardness or an inability to fix something. We have what we need. We have Jesus and we have each other. And we're not alone. And if you would like to not be alone this Sunday morning, see, I told you I would turn it around, our next opportunity to be together in worship is Sunday morning at 10:25. Despite the relatively somber tone of this 601, I'm hoping that this Sunday is going to be kind of a joyous one. It's graduation Sunday and it's Mother's Day. We are gathering to celebrate our graduates. We have some ranging from elementary to master's degrees, and we are celebrating their accomplishments this Sunday. I hope it's going to be a day of celebration and praise and of gathering together to sit with one another in whatever we're going through, joys and concerns. I do hope to see you there, either in person or online. And you know what? Whether I see you there or not, whenever I see you, I hope you remember that this much is true. God made you special. God loves you very much. And so do I. Before I sign off, one thing. Kat says hi too. We can't forget, if we're not alone, we are not alone. We have God and each other and also our furry friends. Have a good night, everyone. We love you.